Anyway, so I'm noticing that we've got this kind of little bump here. I don't know if it's... I tend to like, unless it's necessary, tend to want to have kind of smoothish lines. So let's see if I take this and just, I'm just going to alter the curve on this and alter this slightly. Let's see what this gives us. Yeah, that looks a bit better, I think. Yeah, okay, so this is our curve. Right. So you've got the, and it's just, we're just using the rotations in the Z, yeah? That's it so far. So I'm going to take this curve, yeah? And I'm going to go edit, copy, and I'm going to do something. I'm going to go to this next one, and I'm going to paste it onto this. So, but this time I'm not going to paste it on frame number 1. I'm going to paste it on frame number 2. Now, in order to do that, I have to press S because I'll need to have a keyframe on this curve. I want the X-axis, the red one. So this, the red. You see that I've got the Y, the Z. I'm just looking at the X. I want the same one as the controller before, and then I go here. I go edit, paste, and what will happen if I just press F on the keyboard is I will get this curve again. Yeah, but it's slipped by 1 frame. And now I just go curves. I go and do the same thing, pre-infinity cycle, and curves, post-infinity cycle. So I have a cycled curve now. Oops. Now I can see that this is flipping it round too far in this direction, which isn't what I want. But I can take the whole curve and I can just drag this down a little bit, yeah? So then I got this. And if I feel it's coming up too far, it seems to be coming over the top, there's something else I can do. Well, the first thing I can do is I can go to this curve, the initial one, and I can click on this, and I can just bring this down a little bit so it's not quite so exaggerated. And to do that, I'm just going to highlight the whole curve. So I'm on the curve number 1, the one I did, you know, the first one I did, this one for this controller. And I'm just going to take this, I'll highlight the whole thing, and then I click on the shift button on my keyboard and my middle mouse, and I'm going to click on this, the scale tool. I can actually scale the curves. So in the same way that if I click on the shift, so I can scale, sorry, in the same way that, you know, you can move, I can move the keys by clicking on the translate tool, pressing shift, middle mouse, you know, I can move these up and down. I can press on the scale tool, press shift on my keyboard, middle mouse button, and drag, and I can scale this back a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's just not quite so exaggerated. We might have to do a bit of this. So anyway, so we've got this. So let's say we've got this so far. Right, now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut this curve, this one here. I'm going to go, I'm just going to go edit, copy. This is on from the second controller, and this time I'm going to go to the third, and I'm going to go to key number 3. It doesn't matter, I'm offsetting them by 1 frame. I could offset them by more, but I'll do it by 1 frame. And I'm going to press S again, just so I've got a key on all the channels, so I can pick the rotate Z. Then I'm going to pick the rotate Z. I'm going to right click on, easiest, I'll just go edit, paste, and I'm going to press F so I can focus in on this, and I have another rotation, and I'm going to do curves, pre-infinity cycle, curves, post-infinity cycle. Now I can see this is coming over the top, which isn't what I want, so I'm going to, with the key selected, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this down a little bit. I'm going to go to this, and I'm just going to, pressing on the scale manipulator, I'm going to press on shift middle mouse button, and I'm going to pull this down. Yeah, just a little bit, so that tail, I don't want that tail coming over the top. Yeah, and I may have to shift these again, but I just want to get this kind of working. So I've got this. Right. Okay. We're going to go back and adjust this so it works better. But anyway, this is just to get it working in the meantime. And then of course I take this, so I can copy from this one here, and I'm going to paste it onto the final. And to do that, I'm just going to go select what I want, go edit, copy, and I'll go with the final one here. And I think 1, 2, 3, I think this is frame number 4. And I'll press S to get keys in every channel. Click on the one I want, which is X. And then I'm going to go edit, paste. And I'm going to zero in on that again. And I'm going to make sure the curves are pre-infinity cycle, curves post-infinity cycle. And I should right, and now I'm going to do a few bits of, so one thing I want to do is I want to make this, what you want is, I guess you want more rotation as you go further down, not at the beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rotation of the first one, the X rotation, and I'm going to pull that back a bit so it's a little bit less, yeah. And then I'm going to take this one from the Z and I'm going to amp. See what this looks like. I'm going to amp these up a little bit more. So I'm going to just crack this up a little bit more. So a little bit more. And I'm going to crack this one up here also, just a little bit more. It's like the main, these are probably going to be a little bit more flexible, so I get this. And I just don't want it coming over the top. You see coming over the top here? So you can actually just take the curves themselves and I can just adjust them a little bit. And I'm going to adjust this also. I can see this is bottoming over a little. I'll take this one here. It's coming over the top. Kind of highlight all of this and I'm going to just take that up like that. So it's more of a straight line. And then yeah, you see it doesn't, maybe I can pull this. So just by shifting the curves up and down, you end up with a, and this course could be made better. It feels a little, let's have a look at this, slow down this a little bit. So that, I'll say it. This feels like it's taking too long actually. I feel that bang, bang. This feels like it takes too long to make a change. So I'm actually going to alter this one here. I'm going to take this and change this. This feels like it's taking a long time. Maybe get rid of this frame. So I'm going to take this one and pull this over. I'm also going to alter this as well. I'm going to make sure this bang. The tail should really be kind of getting straight here. So I'm going to pull these over to, let's see, that and that. I'm going to pull these two over. So you got more of a that. Yeah, maybe have this over a little bit more. That looks a little bit better. This feels a bit whiplashy at the back. I can probably take that down as well. It's like this one here feels a little bit whiplashy as it comes around. So I know it should be kind of straight here, but the way when you cut and paste curves like this, you kind of have a fair bit of information, so it makes it a little easier. So I'm just selecting different channels and kind of like just trying to get a nicer look to it. So that should be, again, it should be kind of pretty much straight there. And then here I feel that this should pull round quite quickly. before. Yeah, but there you see. But you see it as you do it. You know, you end up with it with a better looking bounce and a better looking tail. You have to eyeball it. You know, the tricks of cutting and pasting work and they make things easier, but they're not foolproof. You do have to kind of look at them. Okay, so let's see, we've got the tail bouncing up and down now, yeah, and we've got the squash, stretch, yeah. Now we want this character to go along a line. We want them to travel in a straight line towards a wall. So the first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that everything is cycling, because we don't want to animate all the time. So we know that if I just bring up these curves, that these are cycling. You can see they're all cycling, yeah? Different curves. I can see that this is a straight line. I can see that this one is also not cycling. So we need to cycle these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle the deformations. So again, we go to curves, press on that, pre-infinity cycle, and then we go curves, post-infinity cycle. So we got a cycle there. Then we go to the mid button on this, and we do the same thing. We go to curves, pre-infinity cycle, and then we go to curves, post-infinity cycle. Yeah. So we've got that, and now what will happen is that I can extend this out. Yeah, I can extend this out to frame 200 or whatever we want, and this will carry on cycling backwards and forwards. Yeah, I'll show you in this window. So it's moving now backwards and forwards for the whole 200 frames, even though we've only animated on 17 of them. Okay, so there we go. Right. Okay, so that's the first bit, cycling backwards and forwards. Now we want this character to jump over a wall. Okay, so we're going to do the wall business. So we got the cycle, the up and down bounce, cycling up and down. Doesn't look like much. And now we're going to create polygon primitives, and we're going to make it a plane. Okay. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, make sure that to create a plane you have to get out the animation menu if you're in it and go into the modeling one. So then we're going to go create polygons primitives plane, and we're going to scale this plane up so it's a decent size. The easiest thing to do actually is maybe I'm going to go into the scale buttons here. I'm going to knock this up to 1000, and then we got a horizon line, and it's all cool, yeah. And then I'm going to make a wall. So I'm going to create polygons primitives, and this time I'm going to make a cube, and I'm going to move the cube over in this direction here. I want to give them some space to run up to this, and then I'm going to move this over here like that, a bit more, and then I'm going to extend it up this way. There we go, that should do it. Okay, so you got this character, he's coming, so we want him moving forward in the, what axis is this? Let's have a look. In the Z axis. So if you see, click on the buttons, you can see that this is actually the blue arrow, so it's the Z axis. He's going to be moving forward in the Z. So the easiest way to do that is we're going to go to this, we're going to use this controller as opposed